Hello everyone, this is another Trey, and welcome back to my Let's Play series. We're playing Resonant Rise 3. I spent a lot of time between the last episode and this one expanding the base and doing some more fancy stuff, and I added a whole nother floor down below. I also upgraded my jetpack, as you saw at the beginning of the video. It's really fast now. Like, I can cross the base in like 2 seconds. So that's really nice. I did put another elevator down here so that I can actually jump between floors, jump up to the surface, back down between all the floors. So that's working really nice. I also added another bunch of doorways down here. There's only one room that I've started, but I did a lot of work on it, and I want you guys to see this. Basically, what I'm planning on here is I'm going to need to get into auto crafting pretty soon. And I wanted a room directly below my server room where I have all my auto crafting stuff, and I decided to put my ME controller there too. I thought about putting it like right underneath the entrance to the base there, but I didn't like how much of the view it blocked at the entrance, and I didn't know how I was going to go with that. But then I decided I wanted to make a dedicated room to the ME controller, and this is what I came up with. So I wanted it pushed back a little bit so that if I needed to, I could expand on this upper room. So I didn't want this room to interfere with it. So I actually made this little room just as kind of an entryway, and then these doors go into a hallway that I just kind of fancied up for no reason. It doesn't really serve a purpose, I just thought it looked cool. And it moves it away so that I have all this upper space to use for my server room. As I move forward, I go into the larger room, and this is where we're going to build our ME controller, and on the sides I'm going to put some doorways. And this is where I'm going to have all the auto crafting machinery kind of stuff. I'd like to get rid of these torches. I don't have quite enough glowstone in here to make it so that I can get rid of all these torches without there being dark areas in the room. But I'll figure out a way to do that, and those will be gone. I might put some doorways back here as well. This space up here, this is going to be another control panel just like we have up in the server room. This space right here where all the bricks are basically outlining where the ME controller is going to be. And an ME controller is a multi-block that you run your cables from for applied energistics. And each side of the multi-block controller can input, it can basically handle 32 channels. So I'm going to end up running cables out of this controller block wherever I need them to send throughout my base so that I can have all the channels I need. And I'm also going to have the auto crafting in here. Now, this design is not one of my own. It was actually created by another YouTube user by the name of Zog, and I will link his video in the description to this so that you can see exactly how he did it. And I'm basically just going to copy that design because it's really compact and it's really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up putting my interfaces and molecular assemblers in the sides of this so that it'll be a complete cube, and then on the inside will be all the coprocessors and crafting processors. So it'll just be the 7x7 by 7 cube of auto crafting and controller awesomeness. So thank you, Zog, for that idea because it is fantastic, and I'm going to use it shamelessly, but I'm giving him credit. So there you go, Mr. Zog. In the meantime, I want to get my Ender Quarry set up. I know I've been saying that for episodes and episodes and episodes, but if I'm going to get working on a giant ME controller like that, I'm going to need a lot of resources. The only thing I have left to do before I can really get the Ender Quarry set up is I need some kind of auto-smelting, because I don't want just a whole bunch of ores to be filling up my ME system. So I'm going to get some machines together, and I'm going to bring them over to this room, set up a little area for them, get that ready to be thrown together. We'll throw it together quick, and then we will finally go set up our Ender Quarry this episode or bust. So see you in a minute. Okay, so this is what I've got going so far. I'm going to take this pulsating iron that I just made, and that's just ender pearl and iron in alloy mode in the alloy smelter. I also made 3 reinforced pulverizers and 3 reinforced redstone furnaces and a couple hoppers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these items over to this crafting bench. I'm going to turn these into nuggets, run those across like that, get some conduit binding, run it over there, and that will make us a whole bunch of item conduits. What I'm going to do with these is I'm going to put the ender chest that is going to be connected to our quarry right here. And the items are going to be automatically pulled out. They're going to be sent a couple places depending on what they are. Most items will go right here into this ME interface and get sent into our ME system, so it'll all be available to us through our network, which will be awesome. But there are some items that I'm not going to want at all, like cobblestone after a certain amount, dirt. I'm not going to want to hold too much of that. Basically, things that I only want a certain amount of and then delete the rest because there's a ton of them are going to get run into a barrel or probably a drawer, actually, once I get that set up. And then once the barrel or drawer is filled, the rest will go into a trash can, which I have right here. And that'll basically just delete it from the world. Anything you throw into a trash can is deleted from the world. So that'll be cool. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to have to set up the hoppers. The hoppers I don't really want to be visible, but I don't want to set up the hoppers first because I need to place them. Well, I guess I can just set the hoppers up like this. 1, 2, 3 hoppers. Okay. And then we're going to take our pulverizers. We're going to put them right here, only it's backwards. So we're going to take, where's my wrench? Do I have my wrench? Yes. Take that back down. We're going to run it this way. Pulverizer, pulverizer, pulverizer. We're going to shut off all the configurations. And then what we're going to do is have it accept from the top, export to the bottom. Accept from the top, export to the bottom. Accept from the top, export to the bottom. And then we'll do the same thing with our redstone furnaces. Accept from the top, export to the bottom. Accept from the top, export to the bottom. Accept from the top, export to the bottom. Now I'm going to still need behind here, so I'm going to break this wall down a little bit. I'm going to need to get some power into the back of these, and then our item conduits are going to run just like this into the hoppers. Now we do need to switch them around so that they're in insert mode. Now I'm going to have to get some filters for these because we only want them to accept ores that we want to be pulverized and run through a furnace. The other problem we're going to have is gold has a secondary output of cinnabar, which cannot be furnaced. So it kind of clogs up the system, which means one of these is probably going to be dedicated to gold. And then we'll have to find a way to pull the cinnabar out of it, or only one of them is going to accept gold. Probably this end one, because then I can just have another conduit pulling the cinnabar out. So I'm going to run, oops, not like that. I'm going to run this cable over this way. It's going to go right down here. This jetpack is very nearly creative mode, by the way. There is one more upgrade for it, but it's pretty intense crafting recipe, so I'm not going to do that just now. But I will eventually, and that makes it creative flight. Alright, so we're going to bring this down here, like this. Let's see, our ender chest is going there, so this will go like this. And then I'm going to need another way to get in there because I'm not quite done down there yet. So let me grab one of the ender chests. And we're going to stick that right here. There's also an item you can make from Ender.io. I need a crafting station. Here we go. We're going to need some of our conduit binding. If you go like this, it makes a conduit facade. And then what do we need? We need a Corp 14. Do we have any Corp blocks? We've got to have oh yeah, I have a bunch on me. So Corp 14. If you just hold in Alt and then scroll, it will change it between the different Corp blocks. So 14. We're going to go over here to our painting machine. We're going to switch it out for the glass. We're going to throw in our conduit facade like that. Take out these dark pressure plates that I made for some reason. And then we'll put the glass back. So we're going to take this facade, which you can remember what it is by the fact that it has those white and black dotted lines around it. And what this basically does is it hides conduits. If you click on it like that, it looks just like the block you painted it as, but it completely hides the conduit. The conduit's still functional, and when you have a wrench in your hand, it actually makes those facades invisible, which is pretty cool. I'm going to need another way down here. I might just go right here. It doesn't help me much. I might need to go over more. And that's going to be in the way of that. Wow, this is going to get complicated. So basically what I want to do now is get some filters going so that I can tell these hoppers to only accept certain items. I'm also going to make some augments for these so that they run faster, which is why I upgraded them. They are actually second tier, so I can put 2 augments in these to make them run faster. So let me actually see if we can make those augments now. We want the secondary reception coil. So we're going to need 2 for each machine. So we're going to need 12. And then we're going to need 1 of these for each machine. Wow, we actually need bronze for this. Which means we're going to need some copper. And we're going to need some tin. To make bronze, it's 3 to 1 copper to tin. We're going to bring this over here, throw these in alloy mode, and that'll make us some bronze. And through the magic of editing, we have a stack of bronze. So we'll take that over here to our ME system. We'll throw it in, and we'll go back to our augments. So we're going to need 6 of these. Oh, I made 7 by accident. Oh well, I'm sure we'll be able to use that one later. That also means we're going to need 1 more of these. And then we want to make the second tier, which means we're going to need pyrotheum dust. Do we have enough of that? Nope. So I'm going to need a little bit more pyrotheum dust. So that will make us our second tier overclockers. So we'll take those. Wow, it actually put 2 in. Like that. 1 for you, 1 for you. Now this second tier will increase the machine's speed by ×4, and it will increase the energy used by 100%. So basically multiply the amount. See, I don't understand, because that says 100% energy used, but then it also says ×8 RF per tick. So there's something there that I don't understand, but whatever. So anyway, that'll make our machines work really fast so we can keep up with the income, hopefully, from the Ender Quarry. So what I'm going to need to do now is make some filters for these. We don't need to do... Well, actually, we might need to do... There's a couple different kinds of filters that you can make for the Ender IO conduits. There's the basic item filter, the advanced item filter, existing item filter, mod item filter, and chargeable item filter. This one's pretty obvious. This one's pretty obvious too. The existing item filter basically makes it so that if there's an item in the inventory, it will allow items of that type to go into the inventory from the conduits. Advanced item filters and basic item filters, basically you just set what you want to be blacklisted or whitelisted to go into that inventory. The advanced item filter has a few more options, and it has a greater number of items that you can filter to put in. So thinking a basic item filter is not going to be enough. So we're going to want some advanced item filters. In order to make advanced item filters, you need a Z-Logic controller. A Z-Logic controller is made in a slice and splice, which is an Ender IO machine that we have not made yet. So we're going to get going on that. We're going to come over here to this jetpack is way too fast. So I'm going to make a slice and splice, which is made like this, which means I'm going to need a head of any type, an iron axe, shears. We can make some of this stuff pretty easy. So there's our iron axe, there's our shears. We've already got a bunch of heads. I just got to grab them and throw them in the system. Wrong chest. We have a lot of zombie heads, but I'm going to go for a creeper head because they're not used for much else. So throw that into the system. We're then going to go back to our slice and splice recipe. We're going to need a machine chassis, which we've made a million times before. Do we have any iron bars in here? No, so we're going to make some iron bars. Just make a bunch so they're there. That'll make our machine chassis. And the last thing we need is 5 solarium. Now, solarium is another alloy, and that is made with gold and soul sand. We do have a little bit of soul sand. We're going to need gold out of our system. Let's see how much gold we have. We don't have a lot of gold, so we're just going to make the 5 we need. Well, we're going to make a little more than that because we're going to need it for the filters. So, oops, not good, although gold is good. We'll make 16. And then I need soul sand, which is not in a barrel. I believe it's in one of these chests. Yes, here. We'll take that, we'll throw it in our alloy smelter. Like that. Alright, so that should be enough to get our system going forward. Let's go over here and make our slice and splice. Somehow I'm getting spawns inside this room. I don't know how, because the room is completely lit up. If I hit F7, I can look around and see if there's a spawnable area anywhere. There isn't. There's no spawnable areas in here, and yet somehow I'm still getting mobs. I don't know if maybe the option to show spawnable areas doesn't work on top of certain surfaces, like maybe chests, or barrels, but I don't know where they're spawning. And I haven't had a creeper spawn in here yet, but that's the worst case scenario, is a creeper spawns in here and blows up my servers. Because then I lose all my items at once. It'd be worse than a chest being blown up by a creeper. So if anybody has any ideas on that, please let me know how they're getting in here, because I have no idea. But anyway, let's throw some of this garbage in here. Alright, so back to the slice and splice. We now have our slice and splice. So in order to make a Z-Logic controller, we are going to need a zombie head, 2 solarium, 2 silicon, and a redstone. Silicon. Take this 1 solarium with us. I need some redstone. Stop and grab our zombie head. And our solarium. So the slice and splice we're going to put right here in this area. We already had prepared for it from a while ago. The reason this is open, by the way, guys, is because I'm getting ready to set up the ME system to automatically insert... Hey, I didn't know that was there. To automatically insert fuel into this reactor. It's not using reactor very fast, or it's not using fuel very fast because it is automated, so that it only turns on when I have space in the capacitor. So what I'm going to do right now is make these logic controllers, and I am going to need 3 of them. So, oh, that's right. We're also going to need another shears and another axe to run this thing. Shears. What's it called? Slice and splice. I'll just go here. One of the bad parts about this texture pack is that these look like solid items. They're not. They should be grayed out because that's where items go. So like that, and now it'll consume our recipe, and it'll allow us to put in another recipe, and we're going to make these. So I'm going to make 3 of these, and I'll be right back. So now we've got our 3 filters. 1, 2, 3. So we can take those. We can go back over here. And we got a spawnable area right here. Let's take care of that. And then you throw them inside of here, and then it gives you a space to whitelist items. So we're going to want to whitelist our ores, which means I'm going to need an ore of each type. Make sure it's set to whitelist. Ore dictionary doesn't. Well, actually, yeah, we want it to ore dictionary because actually the config for one of the Galacticraft add-on actually doesn't allow you to change the. It doesn't allow you to disable a form of lead So there's two forms of lead out there in my pack, and apparently my base galactic craft ores are still spawning too. So I have two kinds of copper. So we're going to want to leave ore dictionary one. The rest of this is fine. We might want fuzzy mode or NBT. We'll decide that later. But I did put an advanced item filter in here. So basically what we want to do is we want to set the priority to 1, which is higher than 0. Actually, we'll bump it up to 2 just in case. And it'll send anything that's filtered to be allowed in here first before anywhere else, unless it has a higher priority. So 2 is higher than 0, which is what everything else is right now, which means it'll send all the ores here first. Well, once we have them filtered, which means I'm going to need to find an ore of each kind. So I'll take some iron, I'll take this thermal foundation copper, T-construct aluminum, and basically what's going to happen is items are going to show up in our AE system. The ores are. And as they do, we're just going to come over here and we're going to add them to the filter. So I'm going to stick aluminum there, we'll put copper there, I'll put tin there once I get some, we'll put some iron here. And as they come in, I'll just keep adding them to the filter. But for now, that's basically as good as we're going to be able to do. So throw a filter in here, we'll do the same thing. Iron, no, aluminum, copper, iron. And then over here, throw in another filter and aluminum. And I'll probably change one of these up later to be our gold specific one. But for right now, that's how we're going to do that. So that's all ready. We have this hooked up because remember you have to hold a wrench in order to see it. We want to change this to extract mode, always active, and we're going to want some speed upgrades. So speed upgrades for Ender IO are made with electrical steel, redstone torches, pistons, and iron. So we're going to need a whole bunch of electrical steel. So let me get that stuff around to make those speed upgrades, and then we'll continue doing what we were doing. Alright guys, now that we have a higher level of power coming in with our bigger big reactor, I'm going to make the upgraded capacitors for our machines. So we're just going to take our old double layer capacitors. We're going to use some vibrant alloy, which are made by combining our vibrant alloys with an ender pearl, and that'll make you a vibrant alloy. And we'll use those to make our octadic capacitors, put those in our machines, and now our machines will run even faster, which is awesome. So I'm going to throw back the silicon that we were using, the pulverized coal and the iron, and that will make us the rest of our electrical steel, and that'll go a lot faster now. And we have our speed upgrades. Well, that got us 9. We're going to need a little bit more electrical steel, which is still cooking up. But that should be enough for now. We'll make the rest later. We'll just get 10 of them for now. But that will ensure that our conduits here are pulling out the items as fast as the Ender Quarry is sending them in. So that'll help out a lot. Alright, so we do have to do a couple other settings. First of all, we want to make sure that this is actually set to insert. We want to set the priority to, well, 0 is actually probably okay for this one, but we do want to get a filter in here because we want to make sure that items that we don't want in here aren't going in here. We want to make sure that we set priority higher than the trash can, so that only the trash can is last priority. So I did set the trash can to priority -1, so it should be the last place anything goes. But we want items like dirt and cobblestone to go there before the ME system, because we don't want our ME system filled with dirt and gravel and cobblestone. So I'm going to make another filter, which again was our solarium. We're going to need 2 of that. We're going to need our zombie head. We're going to need a piece of redstone and our silicon, which we already have. Let's go out here. Our electrical steel is done. And that will make our last Z logic controller. Really glad we set up this paper system because I'm needing paper more and more. Take our Z logic controller. Throw that in and make another advanced filter. Then we're going to need clay, dirt. We've got some cobblestone, gravel. We don't want lime or marble or limestone, granite, diorite, andesite. We don't want any of that stuff coming into our system. So we go here, set up our filter, blacklist, cobblestone, gravel, sand, diorite, andesite, granite, limestone, marble. Do we get everything? We can let flint go in, that'll be fine. Dirt, definitely don't want dirt. If I think of anything else, I'll throw that in too. But now, none of that stuff should be allowed into our system. Cool. And we'll throw all this stuff back into the barrels. Never did make a sand barrel. I did make a little bit too much glowstone blocks, but that's okay. We use those a lot in our builds. So now that that's done, we are going to need to make sure that our ingots are actually pulled out of our machines. And those can go right back into the conduits where they should be. Because they're not ores, they won't be stuck back in here. They won't be sent into the trash can because the trash can has a -1 priority. They should go right into our ME interface. I do want to make sure that these are set to output. They are. Our machines are set to output, so that should all be working. Next thing we need is power going into these. Let's get these holes closed up. I am still getting spawns inside the base. I'm suspecting that maybe even though these carpenter blocks, when you put glowstone on them, it does create light and it lights up the area and it takes away the red X's from the spawn points. I'm suspecting that maybe they can still spawn in those areas. Now they can't spawn on glass, so they shouldn't be able to spawn here, but all this other area they may be able to. I'm going to keep an eye on it because I did get a creeper spawn behind my big reactor inside that room, so I had to light that up inside there. But I'll keep an eye on that. In the meantime, we're going to need some conduits. We are going to have to upgrade to the higher tier conduits fairly soon. So we'll go back in behind here. We're going to have to extend that out a little bit so we can get out. And then we're going to connect it up to power. Now, where did we have power? The other side of that. So I'm going to have to break this. We're going to have to go down a little bit just so we can get by. We don't need that extra connection. This actually goes all the way down into our ME controller in that room downstairs. So this is where we're going to connect up our system. And our machines should now have power. And they do. Cool, so that should all be ready to roll. We'll close this up. Switch this to our cork number 5. It's nicely concealed. This stuff is all going to move down to where our other machines are, where auto crafting and everything is going to be, and that is the wrong block. Switch this to our corp number 14, I think is the one I used on this one. Yep. Close that up. Okay, we should be good to go. Let's set up our Ender Quarry. Alright guys, I set up our Tesseract right here, and we are going to set this to channel 1. We're going to call it Quarry Power. I'm going to go into our configuration. Item mode can be blocked, fluid mode can be blocked, and then energy mode should be send only. And we'll use that to get our Ender Quarry going. Alright guys, so these are my killing fields as I have affectionately come to know them. This is where I go to hunt Enderman. But pretty soon we're going to have an Enderman spawner going, because I think after we get the Ender Core going, the next thing we're going to work on is spawners and the auto crafting system with the ME controller. So I shouldn't need this area anymore. But what I'm going to do for right now is set up our Ender Quarry. So Ender Quarries are cool in a bunch of different ways. What you have to do to get one set up is put down one of your Ender markers. Once you've got the Ender marker set down, you set another one down along the X and Y axis, or Z I guess in Minecraft. And if they're in line with each other, they'll get these little purple particles, and that will show you that they're lined up correctly, because that's important. So I'm going to break that one, break that one. So I'm going to just go straight out from this one. Most quarries are limited to a 64 block range. The Ender Quarry is not. You can take it out pretty far. I don't even know what the limit is actually on one of these. If I put it here, no, we're at the wrong level. So we'll go down one. Yep, now we're on the right level. So that's a pretty long way. Quarries do chunk load, so that you don't have to put chunk loaders out here everywhere they're working. The Ender Quarry is really nice on servers, though, for a couple of reasons. One, it fills in the area that it digs out, so you don't get flowing liquids. It fills it in with dirt, basically. And it also only chunk loads the chunk that the Ender Quarry is in and that the Ender Quarry is working in. So you don't have... Whoa, hello, friend. So you don't have to worry about chunk loading all kinds of extra stuff and having liquids flowing. So this guy is in X202Y67. So we're going to go out here. We're just going to go for a while, just so we don't have to come over and move this thing all the time. So X202 is here. Y67 is up a block, so we're going to have to use this piece of andesite. And if we put down our marker, we should be good. So we'll come back over here to our first marker. And dig out a little bit of space here for us to put our quarry down. Okay, so now that our markers are down, we can actually take our Ender Quarry and we can plop it right there and right click on our marker. Or no, right click on the Ender Quarry. It'll say analyzing fence boundary, found detached Ender marker successfully at established boundary, which means we're good to go. And we're going to need two things. It's going to need somewhere to output items to. And I forgot to bring along the Ender chest. And it's also going to need power. So I'm going to put the power right here. We're not going to turn it on yet because we don't have the Ender chest. So I'm going to head back to base, grab the Ender chest, and be right back. So guys, I get back to base and we've been invaded. There's definitely something going on with the spawning. And I'm going to have to figure out what it is. In the meantime, I'm just going to clear this out, grab our Ender chest, and get moving. See, it doesn't happen inside the rooms that have actual torches. So I might have to throw down some torches again and see if that fixes the problem. This jetpack is just crazy fast. So we're back at our Ender Quarry. I have the Ender chest. I'm going to put it right here. And we're going to hook this Tesseract up to the setting that I never saved, apparently. So we're going to call this Quarry Power again. Check that, add it to there. This will be nothing, nothing, and energy mode should be receive only on this end. But it's not getting power because I didn't save the setting on the other end. So I'm going to go back to base, and we're going to see if it works. We now have items coming into our base via the ender chest. Another nice thing about ender quarries is they're not like other quarries. They don't mine up in, or like across layers going down. They mine in columns. So there you see we got 2 diamonds. So we should see items coming in. Cobblestone was already in there. Let's see. So there we've got some lead ore. So we can take that out. We can add that to our smelting system over here. You can hear our machines are running because they are receiving items. So we'll throw lead ore right here. But it's working. We have a functional system with an ender quarry. So we should have plenty of resources. I'm going to let this run, and I'm going to end the episode there, guys. This one went kind of long, but I told you we were going to have the ender quarry running or bust, and we do have an ender quarry running. So thanks for joining me again, guys. If you liked the episode, go ahead and give me a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you have any ideas about why mobs are spawning inside my base, it seems to be better now that I threw torches down everywhere again, but they're so ugly. So ugly. So if you have any ideas on why that's happening, please let me know, and we'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.